Yeah, we're looking forward to the Big 12 Challenge. I think it's a big deal for the SEC to play well in this. You know, it's kind of middle of the conference, and most teams are only playing within the conference. So I think it's big for the SEC to do well. We've got to try to do our part in it. It's not going to be an easy game on the road at Oklahoma. I mean, their conference record is not great, but they've won, I think, or they've lost, were they 2-6, I believe, and lost 4 one-possession games. So they're playing teams really tough. Texas, Kansas, Baylor. You know, they've lost some one-possession games. So our guys got to understand this is a team that's more than capable of playing with the best teams in the country. We know that. We're prepping our guys for it. We got to be much improved from the Mississippi State game. I didn't think we were very good in that game at all on Wednesday, but I think our guys will be. I think they hopefully had a little bit of a wake-up call that we got to come prepared a little better and come focused a little better and play harder to start the game. So looking forward to see how our guys respond after the Wednesday game.
Where have you seen this team evolve the most from November to now?
You know what? Defensive intensity and consistency. I mean, if you look at our game against Gonzaga, I didn't think we were very good defensively at all. The other area we've improved, we've cut our turnovers way down, and we were turning the ball over way too much early in the year, which with the way we play fast, aggressive, attacking. Guys got to learn it. We expect more turnovers early in the year, but it seemed like they lasted a little longer than they needed to. But I think we've done a lot better job. I think guys have kind of figured out their roles a little better. You know, we got some guys that not everybody was going to be the main scoring options. Guys have figured out where they can fit in and help the team get better, and I think guys are buying into their roles a lot better.
Coach, 2 questions. The first question being Oklahoma, like you said, is playing a lot of teams very tough. You know, they're trying to get an NCAA tournament spot as well. What's like playing them? And the second question is, with Charles Betty, I can kind of leading the team in fouls. He's had at least 3 fouls every game since SEC play has started. You know, what are you kind of seeing from him? Is it more so what he's doing, what the rotations aren't doing that put him in bad spots?
Yeah, I mean, first question with Oklahoma trying to get an NCAA tournament bid, we know that they're hungry for a win. They need quality wins. We're hungry for a win too, though. We're playing for number 1 seed. This isn't a game that you can go on the road and just, you know, not take care of business. Like, we're playing for something too. So we got both teams playing for different things, and we're both going to be motivated, and we got to know that we're number 2 in the country right now in the polls, and teams are going to bring their A game against us. We know that. We just saw Wednesday night, and we barely won the game. We probably should have lost that game. So we got to play a lot better. So that's that. Second one with Charles and the fouls. Charles needs to get in the stance and move his feet better so he can get squared up when he does have to help. I think he's been out of his stance too much. He's getting twisted because he's late on everything, because he's not there on time. So that's one. The stuff he can do himself to help out. 2 is our guards do need to do a little bit better job staying in front so he's not put in as many situations as he is. But our defense is built on putting Charles at the rim. Like, we're trying to run guys off the 3-point line. We want Charles to be at the rim, protect the rim. So he's got to be able to do his job. And he's got to do it without fouling. You know, and he's had some tough fouls. I mean, there's some iffy rebounding fouls that could have been called 30 times in the game. For whatever reason, they choose to call the one on Charles. So he's gotten some bad luck. He's got to do better himself, and then our guards got to do better. Hopefully a combination of all that can keep him in the game, because our defense is definitely better when he's in the game protecting the rim.
With Clowney and Sears kind of in a slump from 3, do you do anything to try to help those guys get out of that? Or I know you're always talking about, you know, keep taking shots, but do you do anything to maybe try to help?
Yeah, I mean, I pulled all Sears missed threes. We both looked at both, and we've got the NOAA system that tells you whether they're missing left, right, long, short. So we looked at both those guys. You know, Sears is like right there, and he's been a consistent shooter his entire career. So he just needs to get some confidence back. And I don't think there was, you know, there's a couple little tweaks that we saw maybe, but I don't want to mess with his head too much, because I I think he's a really good shooter that's been a consistent shooter his whole career, and we just got to get him back making shots. Clowney, he'd been making shots in practice, so we worked a little bit with him on his footwork, just being ready, stepping into it. But I really don't want either of them not taking open shots. I think it hurts our offense when we got those guys turning down shots. So I think the last team that decided not to guard Clowney, he came out and made 4 threes in the first 4 minutes of the game. So hopefully teams will see his shooting and decide not to guard him again, and he'll knock down 4 threes in the first 4 minutes of the game and help us open the game up, because we know he's more. And he's been a little streaky. In high school, I think he missed his first 19 threes of the season and then shot 40% the rest of the season. So hopefully he's got his 16 misses out of the way and starts knocking some down. So he's been making them in practice, so I anticipate seeing him go in the game here pretty quick.
Yeah, we got to talk to Noah and Namari today, and they mentioned just how tough the past 2 weeks have been, but also how that's brought them together. How have you seen the leadership from just this group and just kind of how they've handled the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think guys have pulled each other together. Guys have talked to each other. Guys have, I've talked to guys, and they'll tell me, yeah, I've touched base with everybody on the team. They give me pretty good pulse on it. So, Gurley's been here for 2 years now. He's a fifth-year senior. He's smart. He's a good kid, high-character kid. So he's been great to have in a program. He's the guy that leads the team in prayer before games. So comes from a family. His dad's a pastor. So it's been great to have him here. Quinterly's been through, a lot, and then he's been here with us every year we've been here. He had to sit out first year. He was able to play our year 2 when we were really good. So he's been good. He was really close to Darius, one of the guys closest to him on the team. But, I just think guys have faced some adversity, and I said it before, like sometimes God puts you in situations that maybe don't look like there's any good could come out of it, and there's definitely a lot of bad involved in this situation, but God can use bad situations to help other situations, and I think our guys maybe have grown a little closer and had to fight through some adversity, and they're really the only ones that know what type of adversity they're going through, and they've kind of pulled together to fight through that.
Yeah, sort of along with Charlie's question, do you think shooters are born or made, or?
Listen, I always tell our players, we use a quote, shooters are made, not born. I do think some guys are born with a little more innate ability, but I don't think anybody just rolls out of bed without any practice and can shoot a basketball at a high clip. You got to spend some reps in the gym. And I say this too, you look at the NBA, there's plenty of guys that come into the NBA non-shooters that turn themselves into shooters by the work they put in. Like Herb Jones is one of them. Came right out of here. He couldn't shoot the ball his first 3 years here. And you go look at his percentage in the NBA, he got a lot better his senior year. We spent a lot of time in the gym with him. He spent a lot of time in the gym. He's one of the hardest working guys on the Pelicans now. I mean, you can read the articles about his work ethic down there, and he's turned himself into a shooter. So I definitely think some guys are born with a little more innate ability to shoot the basketball, but those guys get passed up by guys with a better work ethic if they don't have a work ethic. So like Petty's one of those guys that really natural shooter, and he put time in to continue to get better, and he's the leading three-point shooter to come out of here. Herb was one of those guys that wasn't as good, and he had to work really hard to get there, but he did.
On the flip side of Clowney and Sears, you have guys like Rylan and Dom and Quinterly stepping up from 3. Is that big whenever you have some guys that are going to get a lot of minutes to do that?
Yeah, we shooting was a huge priority in the off season. That's Sears shoots it really well. Dom shot it well over 4 years. We brought Rylan in, so we're getting Amari back, who's shot it really well today in practice. So if some guys are struggling, we need some other guys to pick them up. So we've got a stable of shooters on this team. Hopefully we can get the right ones going here, because our 3-point percentage, was not good last game, but it's been a big part of what we do. We're going to take a lot of threes. It'd certainly be helpful if we're making them.
I've got two, but first off, just how much did the Mississippi State game prepare you for Oklahoma, both in scheming and then also in terms of just situational, of like where Mississippi State is and where Oklahoma is?
Yeah, it's actually a great point because like Mississippi State's record wasn't great, but they're a good team. They're a lot better than what their record showed. I mean, you look at their first 8 games in conference, I think they've had Tennessee twice and us twice. So they're a better team than what their record would indicate. I think Oklahoma's the same way with their record in Big 12 play. And then schematic-wise, it's pretty similar too. Now, Mississippi State's a lot more aggressive, trying to force turnovers, but pick and roll coverages, some different stuff like that. I mean, it'll be attacking similar. So we didn't do a very good job against Mississippi State. We need to do a lot better job against, the switching, kind of 1 through 3, 1 through 4, depending on where they've got Hill at. A lot of that stuff is similar. So we've been working the last couple of days to try to get a little bit better at that stuff.
And can you use the potential of a number 1 ranking as a motivator, and what would that mean to the program to get that?
You know what? We haven't yet. I don't know if the guys want it that bad. I haven't really asked them. To me, you just take care of business and let all that stuff kind of fall where it falls. To me right now, with our players, our motivation is to try to get better every game. We're trying to play for an SEC championship. We're trying to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. So in order to do that, you got to get better every game. You want to be peaking in March. To me, that's what we've been preaching to our guys. And I felt like we had gotten better, up until the last game. I thought we took a big dive the last game. So we got to flip this thing around and make a big jump forward this next game because I felt like we went backwards the last game. All right, thanks.